Well, we've all been there, stuck in a rut, hitting a dry spell, or getting blank-minded on a project or task. It can last hours or up to years. Dr. Vijay Ram, award-winning cognitive scientist, Harvard speaker, and author, is here to help us achieve clarity on demand. That's what you call it. What a idea. I like that, because there are certainly times when I'm writing a text or I'm writing a script for the show that all of a sudden I'm blocked. So let's talk about writer's block and why it happens and ways to overcome it.
Well, writer's block is any mental impediment to writing. And the good news is there's a lot of really great ways to deal with it. So they kind of fall into three simple categories. And the first is stimulation. And one of the easiest ways to stimulate the mind is to change locations. Now, it sounds simple, but it's actually very powerful. And the ideal way to change locations is to an interesting place that you're not as familiar with or where the vibe is constantly changing. So, for example, Steven Spielberg says he gets some of his best ideas when he takes drives on the freeway. Director Christopher Nolan says that he takes walks to stave off writer's block. It's energizing, it's stimulating, and it changes your frame of mind, most importantly. Another stimulation technique is exercise. And exercise is great for clearing the mind, especially when stress is behind writer's block. So Khloe Kardashian and Prince Harry are both big proponents of the mental benefits of exercise. It creates endorphins, it makes you feel good, and it gives your mind kind of a refresh. Many people say they get their best ideas when they're exercising.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely attest to the travel idea, because I used to write a few songs back in my day, and I traveled to New York one time, and all of a sudden all this inspiration started flowing in, and I said it must have been this new environment that was so unfamiliar to me, all these new stimuli, and it really got things flowing for me. And so what do you have to say to perfectionists when it comes to writer's block?
Well, the second category is actually simplifying the task, and this works great for perfectionists. So one of the best ways to do that is simply stop trying to do it so well. President Barack Obama says, stop obsessing, just get started, then it gets easier.
Yeah.
The late poet Maya Angelou has said that she would write the most boring, awful lines, but then the good stuff would come. So the main idea is to get words onto paper, and as Obama says, it's a lot less intimidating when you're not staring at a blank page. Now, there's a third category, and that's dealing with the block itself. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is to express what you're feeling, express the block itself. So done right, this can work with very tough cases of writer's block. Eminem and Gwen Stefani both suffered from years of writer's block, and both of them dealt with it by writing about what they were going through. Eminem did it with Talking to Myself, where he wrote about falling asleep from writer's block in the parking lot of a McDonald's. And Gwen wrote about, she did it with the song What You Waiting For, and where she talked about all the voices in her head and all the pressure she was feeling. And both of them, by doing that, opened the floodgates to new information. So expression can be a very powerful means to deal with it.
Right, and that's a simple trick, like you were mentioning, to expression. Or is there another one that you want to share with us too? So
there is a very specific way to do expression right for this particular purpose, and that is art. Use art. Don't intellectualize it. Art is great for doing this. You don't have to be an artist. Even if you're throwing splotches of paint at paper or doodling something that doesn't really even look like anything, as long as you're internally connecting with what you're doing, then you start to feel better and you'll feel things dissipate. Now, the other thing is that if you do this and you don't feel the block go away, ask yourself, what haven't you said yet? What have you not expressed yet? What have you not said about the block? And when you get that last piece out, your mind will get bored with the block and will go on to new thoughts.
Well, it sounds like to me like you really have to be in touch with yourself, in touch with your thoughts and how you're feeling. Good place to do that is the shower, right? You say the shower is actually a great place to unblock yourself.
It's another stimulation technique, and in a recent global survey, 4,000 people over 8 countries, 72% of people said that they get new ideas when they take showers. And 14% said they will specifically take showers to get new ideas. And when they were asked, what is it about showers that is responsible for this, they were split into 3 answers. One is the tranquility of the experience. The second is the sensation of the water. And third is simply being alone.
Right. It lets your mind wander. It certainly is a relaxing place to be. And all of this and more can be found in your book. I'm going to let them know where they can find that. But, Doctor, thanks so much for joining me.
Pleasure to be here.
Definitely. Clarity on Demand, available now. You can learn more by visiting Dr. Ram's website, drvjram.com. That's drvjram.com.